You knew something was off. You could not quite say what. Each individual thing they did had an explanation. The accident that was not their fault. The friend dropped without warning. The compliment that landed wrong. Each one alone made sense. And yet, the pattern was there. You felt it before you could name it. This is what dark personality research calls a blend, a stacking of traits in a single person, where the danger is not any one behavior. The danger is in the combination. In the last 3 episodes, we covered the dark triad, narcissism, Machiavellianism, psychopathy. We took each one apart on its own terms, but almost no dangerous person is purely one of those. Most are blends. And blends do not behave like a single trait. They behave worse. Today, we map why. By the end, you will know 3 things. Why pure profiles are rare in the wild. 3 combinations and what each one does. And how to read a blend in real time. The cleanest version of any single dark trait is the rarest version. Most dangerous personalities are not pure narcissists, pure Machiavellians, or pure psychopaths. They are mixes, measurable amounts of 2 or 3 traits stacked in the same person. Researchers Delroy Paulhus and Kevin Williams introduced the term dark triad in 2002 and showed something that quietly reorganized the field. The 3 traits do not just coexist by accident. They share a callous, manipulative core. Score high on one, and you statistically tend to score high on at least one other. This is not a sorting hat. It is a cluster. In ordinary life, this means something practical. The person you cannot quite figure out is rarely one archetype. They are a combination. And the combination behaves differently than any one trait alone would. A pure narcissist needs admiration, but does not plan 3 moves ahead. A pure Machiavellian plans, but still feels social pressure. A pure psychopath has no internal restraint, but no patience either. The blends combine these. The combinations get more dangerous, not less. There is a colleague you cannot quite figure out. They are confident. They believe they deserve everything they have, and they tell you often why they are correct. But they also wait. You watched them work calmly over 14 months to remove a rival. They never raised their voice. They never showed emotion. They built a case in fragments, a remark to senior leadership, a missed deadline reframed, a project handed off so it would land badly. And the whole time, you were not even sure they had noticed they were doing it. That is a narcissist with Machiavellian features. Grandiosity meets patience. The person believes they deserve to win, and they will calculate, quietly, for as long as it takes. What makes this blend dangerous is the patience. Most people fight back against narcissists by waiting for the explosion. That is when grandiosity exposes itself. There is no explosion. There is just a slow, calm, multi-year ledger you did not realize was being kept. If you have ever felt you lost something gradually to someone who said all the right things, you may not have been wrong about them. You may have been up against the patience of a strategist who genuinely believed they deserved to take it from you. This blend looks like a leader, lack of empathy paired with hunger for recognition. Robert Hare and Kevin Dutton describe what they call functional psychopaths, people whose emotional vacancy combines with image construction. They do not look dangerous. They look like vision. Picture an executive who never shows guilt about who they cut, not because they are calculating who deserves it, because the loss does not register as a loss. But that same person turns icy when their work is publicly criticized. The wound is real. The empathy never was. You see this in 2 patterns. They take credit they did not earn calmly, with no internal flicker of dishonesty, and they react to perceived disrespect with disproportionate force. The asymmetry is structural. Praise lands deep. Pain caused to others does not register. They will plan an entire promotion campaign and never think about the people who lost their jobs in the process. This is not a horror movie villain. This is the person many people work for. The combination does not look monstrous. It looks like leadership in environments that reward both qualities. This is the hardest blend to describe, and the hardest to leave. A patient strategist with no internal weather. They plan, they wait, they execute. There is no emotional tell, ever. Picture a long-time colleague who slowly orchestrates an exit for someone they publicly say they respect. The compliments sound real. The actions move steadily, over months, in one direction. The person being removed cannot point to a single act of cruelty. They can only point at the trajectory. This blend has no anger. That is what disorients people. We expect harm to arrive with heat. This arrives cold. Without empathy to slow the strategy, and without narcissistic grandiosity to expose it, the Machiavellian psychopath operates almost invisibly. They do not need recognition. They do not need to feel powerful. They want the outcome they decided on, and they have all the time in the world. When all three traits are present in measurable amounts, narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy together, you get the figures most case studies focus on. The CEOs who shipwreck companies. The political operators whose names appear in long investigative pieces. The full blend is rare. The two-trait blends are everywhere. You cannot run a clinical questionnaire on the people in your life. You do not need to. You need 3 patterns. First, stacking. A pure trait shows up in one register. A narcissist seeks admiration. A Machiavellian schemes. A psychopath does not feel. A blend shows 2 or more registers in the same person, across multiple incidents. Look for behaviors that come from different categories. Second, time asymmetry. Single dark traits operate on a single time scale. Pure narcissists react in real time. Pure Machiavellians plan. Pure psychopaths feel nothing in the moment. A blend operates on multiple time scales at once. They react now and plan for next year. They feel nothing and crave recognition. The dual time pattern is the tell. Third, deniability. Each individual incident in a blend has a clean alibi. The accident, the meeting, the reorg. Alone, each looks like normal organizational life. The pattern only becomes visible when you zoom out and watch a year of decisions all bend in one direction. Here is what to remember. If the explanation for each thing is plausible, but the pattern is impossible, trust the pattern. Your nervous system noticed the stacking before your reasoning did. That feeling of something off was real data. You just did not have the language for it. You do not need to label the blend. You need to step back far enough to see the shape. So what do? 3 things. Track patterns over time, not isolated incidents. Watch for time asymmetry, someone who plans long and feels little. And trust pattern over alibi. If the cost of staying close to someone keeps rising while their explanations stay plausible, the pattern is the truth. The plausibility is the cover. If naming this in your specific situation creates real risk for you, professionally, financially, or personally, your safety comes first. None of this replaces a conversation with someone who can help you assess and plan with full context. You did not miss anything. You did not fail to see. You were dealing with a profile designed by accident, by how the traits combine, to be hard to see. Now you have the shape. The dark triad gave us 3 corners. The blends gave us combinations. But there is still a question we have not asked. Why do these patterns work on us at all? Why does someone with a measurable empathy deficit walk into a room of normal people and find a target so quickly? The next episode looks at the targeting itself, how dark personalities select, what they look for in a person, and, most important, why empathy in the target is not a weakness, but the very door they walk through. Patterns work because targets have shape too. That is next.